From Chengdu to Xi'an and now back to our home base at the top of the Super Brand Mall, the LPL Battle Arena for a Shanghai clash between Rogue Warriors and FunPlus Phoenix. We've lost Clement, I've still got Raz, I'm still FrostKieran, and we have to jump directly into this matchup and talk about these superstars. Because for me, this is all about the mid laners. This is Doinby versus Cool. Veteran status.
Yes.
Formerly of OMG. Rocks over to FPX. The veteran mantle between them, grounding this team, almost making playoff run, and he only played for half the split. And just look at those numbers.
Stop.
Rest.
Stop it.
He's ranked 3rd in kill participation.
Stop it.
It's his importance.
Stop. That doesn't matter. Take a look at the picture. Do you see that? I'm sorry. Turn around, Frost. It's Man Bun Appreciation Minute. Play the music. Play it. I don't care. That's what I care about.
The Man Bun. See, the thing is I see Cool's Man Bun almost every single day. Oh, we changed up the stereo.
It's the proper music. Turn it up.
I didn't know he was going to play the vocal version of the song. So that is your LPL minute-long Man Bun Appreciation. Every time I see Cool come out, especially in the intro video, he just has that luscious hair into the man bun that I was so jealous I had to get one myself. And it took about 45 minutes to get my tiny little hairs pulled back into my head. So the fact that he plays as well as he does, with all of the stress that this puts on the top of your head, only respect.
Keeps him focused. Hair out of his eyes. Right into your eyes. You got to look at FPX's lineup. Gimgoon, Xingyi, Man Bun himself, LWX and Chris running this lineup.
Oh, Man Bun, Cheekbones, Cool has got it all. I see why he is so popular. On the other side, though, the popularity front man, it's Doinby, Mouse, Flawless, SMLZ, and Kahlua.
And I don't know how they're going to be able to beat him, but I know what Clement thinks, and I'm going to speak for Clement. So SMLZ is a beast, as Clement would say. So being able to follow him up, I expect a lot of Lucian picks. Yes, right in it.
Zoom!
Enhance.
Our cameraman cannot hear us. So this just tells us that everyone is exactly aligned on what is important in this matchup, and it is the hairstyles. And it's not just Cool, it's light Doinby versus dark Doinby. He went back to blonde.
And I just don't want, this is when I'm going to start pulling it back, because you're right, no life Doinby, all that, they're doing really well for themselves. I'm going to have to pull it back.
I'm all about hair. I'm ready to go full in.
I wish I could. Anyways, so yes, immediately SMLZ is a baller right now in this matchup. So I expect him immediately.
Use the word baller as
he
an
is
adjective?
a baller
okay.
in this matchup.
Yep.
He's going to be picking himself up, prioritizing Lucians. I would say that ordinarily. I was really surprised that recently he's been picking up the Heimerdingers, the Karthus. So this is up for the casters to really guess for.
Yeah, what a world that we live in when SMLZ is playing Heimerdinger. But it's not just the Chinese sniper playing, it's also the shotgun of the LPL, LWX. So Fish, Rusty, who's going to win?
凤凰的精神就是不畏挑战，燃烧青春。
Well, we're about to find out who's going to win, because we're about to get to the first match between FPX as well as Rogue Warriors here in the third best of 3 series that we have today. This one's going to be played out of Shanghai, and I know that it's known as the Man Bun. It looks great when you style your hair backwards, as FrostKieran and Cool both have. That's not called the Man Bun though. The correct name is the Mistake. That is the Mistake.
I'm gonna just throw this one out there. Hashtag ban the bun. Ban the bun.
We are in the bun. This is the bun of Shanghai. This is where the arena is located. Cut that mistake off. I mean, look at Snake's got some great hair.
You just kind of hit 11 on me. Now we're like full serial killer on man buns, dude. Let's just talk about
Give me the scissors.
Shall we? It's a lot right now.
Raz has got a pair somewhere. But let's get into this set. Man buns aside, Rogue Warriors taking on FunPlus Phoenix. And this is going to be a slugfest, Rusty. This is going to be fun to watch.
This is absolutely, like, FPX are called FunPlus Phoenix for a reason. They add a plus to the fun factor in this set right now, and Rogue Warriors are actually rogue agents. They got Kled mid lanes, they got Heimerdinger bottom lanes. They're exciting when it comes to this patch 8.11 draft, and they are innovators above all else. Both of these teams are innovators and expect something different.
Oh, they definitely are. And we'll talk about that a little bit more after Champion Select, because we are curious to see what these two teams will draft. First bans coming out of FunPlus Phoenix, Fiddlesticks, Swain, as well as Talia. Alistar, Rakan, and Camille were Rogue Warriors 3 bans. Nocturne is the first pick for Singing in the jungle, the new jungler for FPX.
Yeah, locking in that Nocturne for Sydney is always going to be a big deal. Nocturne does very well with high damage sources or sources of crowd control, as we actually saw the Ashe Tahm Kench coupled with it extremely nicely. So I like this from FPX as a potential pick for the bottom lane on top of the Nocturne.
Whereas for the side of Rogue Warriors, that's not going to be a top lane Aatrox. That's probably going to be Doinby picking up Aatrox in the mid lane because, surprise, surprise, that's one of the interesting things that Rogue Warriors like to do.
I would not discredit the fact that it could be a top lane Aatrox, but it can flex towards the middle lane for Doinby for certain. It does make things very difficult for a player like Cool, who has got a lot of champions. I would love to see his Zoe, but if you pick something that is fragile into the likes of a Bruiser that Doinby can run around with, you run the risk of dying in lane.
I mean, just throwing it out there, Mouse's games on Aatrox, 0. Doinby's games on Aatrox, 2. Stats, you know, given the advantage to Doinby here. But Lucius the knock-in, is that a Nami? That's a Nami in the bot lane for Killua.
We can't call it Nami on this broadcast.
Oh, that's
People
true.
don't understand what a New Zealand accent sounds like.
That's Nami.
So it's Nami that has been locked in, and that's not going to be mid lane, because he has 0 games played, because stats fish. So we've got our bottom lane secured from Rogue Warriors.
It's 0 games in the LPL, Rusty. No one's played Nami yet.
It's the first Nami that we've actually seen, and for me, I have to expect that Gimgoon will be playing the Shen, and that assumption then leads us to believe that we don't know what the bottom lane is going to be from FPX with that Ezreal. There's the Rakan ban, the Alistar ban. A lot of the support's gone, Fiddlesticks also removed. So Nami presumably going to be into something like a Braum if they wanted to go that direction and deny a bit of the damage from the Lucian. Leona ban also indicating that they kind of want that matchup.
Well, let's see. They have that combination of Nocturne as well as Shen now. Ezreal being thrown into the bottom lane. LWX, the shotgun of the bottom lane position. He's a mix. He throws in a mixed bag of champions. He's often played the AD carries, but has thrown in the likes of Yasuo. He's played Vladimir as well, and 1 game of Ryze.
And this is always one of those worlds where perhaps the Lucian even flexes to the middle lane. No, you're dependent on matchups. This is one of the more unorthodox jungle champions being hovered currently, but I would never discredit this for someone like Flawless to pick it up.
We've already seen it. So let's see if Ezreal gets locked in again here at the LPL. Flawless has not played it, but it does get locked in. Jungler of choice for Rogue Warriors is going to be Elise. The bans coming out from Rogue Warriors was Leona as well as Zoe. FunPlus Phoenix, Kled, and Dr. Mundo were their last 2 bans, with Tahm Kench as the support pick of choice for Chris. So that is Gimgoon taking Shen to the top lane.
They don't give a lot of options to the side of FPX for a traditional support, but the Tahm Kench always seems to take priority for every team in the LPL. They ban Leona, they ban Alistar, a lot of tanks removed. Braum and Tahm Kench were the only 2 remaining tank options. So they go towards the natural choice, of course, of this Tahm Kench, though it removes a bit of engage. So for FPX, looking towards the mid lane, they could have gone 1 or 2 directions. They choose the utility route.
And utility is something that is not foreign to Cool. He has played the Galio before, even has a game on Lulu, so picking up another support champion in the mid lane, trying to protect LWX as much as he possibly can on this Ezreal pick. Final pick for Rogue Warriors is going to be Sin. So yes, we get another match of Aatrox in the mid lane for Doinby. And Sin's being played by Mouse, trying to run around Shen in the top lane.
You'd feel like for FPX, they were running on the assumption that Doinby was going to be picking that one up. They go for the Lulu that usually has a lot of control in the middle lane. Aatrox is one of those champions that expends a lot of his health to have any kind of lane control. And in such a short lane in mid, it's very easy to lose your health. And if you're stepping up as a melee champion, you run the risk of being ganked. But he's against a Nocturne, and he has an Elise. So ultimately, I actually think that Doinby's not in the worst place for himself right now.
He is not. There is an Ignite being picked up by Lulu. Let's see if Cool does change his Summoner spell later on. And we can talk about these drafts a bit more as we go on to the Rift for game number 1. But we'll talk about this backstage before the draft, Rusty. This is going to be so fun to watch. I mean, we already have triple globals coming out from the side of FPX. Rogue Warriors picking up the first Nami of the LPL Summer Split and an Aatrox in the mid lane. And often, people refer to Clown Fiestas in the North American or European LCS as something that's not very good. You think of your carnivals where the bolts and screws are a bit rusty, it's a bit unsafe to go on those rides.
I'm absolutely safe.
There's scary clowns everywhere. But Clown Fiestas in the LPL are sought after. Think of the stopwatch meta back at the start of Spring Split. Think of the current meta here. And think of these two teams. This is like going to Universal Studios or Disneyland. You want to go back again and again, so you buy a season pass because it's fantastic to watch.
TLDR, we are better than NA. So you should watch us have Fiestas because we're more exciting.
It's so much fun. Did you see that last matchup, EDG against WE? Whoo! If you have not, check out the VOD when it's up, because that was beautiful.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure this game is going to be as bloody, if not more.
Yeah, a lot of the things that between these teams don't always occur off the Rift and Draft. You know, you get a lot of crazy things from the likes of Rogue Warriors, and you can see them all smiles right now as they're getting onto the Rift. They've got some crazy picks. Aatrox in that mid lane, of course. He's played the Kled. We mentioned that before. They've got the Heimerdinger in the bottom lane, channeling the inner EU. The only successful Heimerdinger, I believe, as well, of the LPL. But past that, in-game, they've got some wacky decisions that they sometimes make. Their dives top lane, their 5-man stacks and groupings in unexpected places, times, and situations are things that are often hard to predict and can catch teams very much off guard.
Well, they are the revenge team. Band of misfits joining together to create a pseudo-super team that did well during Spring Split, making it all the way to 3rd place. Started off the split incredibly well, crashed towards the ends, but scraped it through on playoffs and capitalized on a wounded Invictus Gaming. Now about to start with this crazy meta, 3-0 already, trying to take it to FunPlus Phoenix. We already watched a fantastic match between EDG and WE. Let's get onto the Rift for another. FunPlus Phoenix taking on Rogue Warriors.
Uh-oh. Well, we don't actually get a chance for the fans to chant this time around. We're gonna... that was a horse. Ah!
Get away!
Oh, that's great. The deal with it glasses make it so much better as well.
I'm just confused now. I
I just didn't know what to expect. Why is the first thing that we come out to a giant horse head?
I mean, the first thing on my mind was, what happens now? Because in Shanghai, normally in other arenas, as soon as you see the Scenic View, teams start to chant, they start to cheer for their squads. In Shanghai, they always wait for the clash graphic to come up, the two teams, when that disappears and you see the champions laning, and the blue side team starts to cheer. What happens when we have a pause right away, followed by a horse being shown on the main screen straight afterwards? Bit unfortunate.
I'm gonna say that, you know, as we get back onto the Rift, we haven't seen a lot of gameplay, so I'm sure the fans will be chanting for their teams in order of blue to red, as they are wont to do.
Will they? I don't know. I think we've thrown a spanner in the works. Look what happened at Xi'an when WE had the unfortunate event of being on red side and they couldn't get their drums going.
Okay, to be fair, the EDG fans chanted at least 7 times. Everyone gets 3, and they just kept going. WE didn't really know when to sound the drums.
You get 3 chants per team, and then 1 RNG or TSM at the end. That's it. That's all you're allowed.
That is a hairdo, Mouse. It's really feeling that. Look at that catch a wave.
What has he done?
Just put the headset on. That gets everyone. You just don't see your own head when you put a headset on. We all look funny with one.
From the side, it's so much better. Oh boy, that's a great hairdo. Look at Lucian, rocking the braids.
Aatrox actually stabbing him in the back, if you didn't notice.
Ouch.
Weird splash shots.
It's not nice to stab people in the back.
No, it's not. Be kind to your friends, everyone. Tell your mum you love her.
Knives to the back actually hurt most of the time. We actually haven't seen any gameplay yet, so there's not much for us to break down. So what should we talk about here, Rusty? We've already talked about how this is going to be a fun matchup between Rogue Warriors as well as FunPlus Phoenix. These are two teams. If you look back at Spring Split, it would have been more brawl heavy. FunPlus have kind of slowed down, but this is a very chaotic meta, something that Rogue Warriors would love to experiment with, and we've seen them experiment with this meta already in the summer split of the LPL.
Yeah, when we look towards FunPlus Phoenix, because we spoke about Rogue Warriors quite a bit already, they do seem like a team that has learnt to slow down. And one of the biggest reasons as to, why would they slow down so much is this ridiculously chaotic side that win games by just being so fast that you can't keep up. And I think a lot of it was cool. The organization, they changed some management. They've also switched in Cool at a very similar timing, and suddenly the game pace just rapidly slowed down. Cool, a big communicator. Our first set in the Shanghai arena where Cool was playing for FPX, you just watched the player cameras and he was just modem out. He was rapid fire, constant shot calling, communicating to his team, and later we got to actually talk about it and hear from the mic check on the things that he was saying. And a lot of it was just him being a calm, experienced person, offering things, telling everyone to calm down and that everything's okay whilst people are freaking out around him.
I mean, most of the newer fans of the LPL probably haven't heard that mic check, but if you have heard the mic check that's commonly shown before the LPL broadcast, which was Uzi's team, RNG, at MSI, if you hear the cohesion and the calls that team make, it sounds chaotic, but it makes sense and they work well as a unit. Now think of FPX being the exact same, but way too chaotic. They weren't able to stay on the same page. Cool will always jump in, pull it back, and tell them exactly what they need to do. Tell them exactly what needs to happen so that they can continue with the match to progress into the next play, whether they need to play faster, whether they need to take risks, whether they need to slow it down. He's that voice of reason. And when you think about it, it was a big improvement for FPX when they brought in Cool during the spring split.
You've been exposed, FPX fan.
So as I was saying, it was a
we know who you are now.
It was a big improvement for FPX when they brought in Cool during the spring split, and now they've had an entire off season to work with him, and they've started the summer split with him as well. They lost Pepper, but Singies look good in the jungle as well.
The biggest takeaway from all of that, the communication, the way that it's been structured and perhaps changed between these teams, is that Cool adds experience. And experience is exactly what FPX needed. Gimgoon, he's been around for a little while, but is a bit of a loose cannon. LWX is called the shotgun for a reason. It's because he's pretty aggressive. He's renowned for flashing forwards. So having someone to say no to them here and there, or just slow down, has done wonders for them. And they did start to look better very quickly. But now they find themselves up against a team that has embodied chaos and slow styles. They're experienced members across the board, and they know what it means to do both. So if you come at them fast, they'll go faster. If you come at them slow, they know how to slow down.
I mean, take last split alone. Rogue Warriors were already trying to break a meta that was fairly stale for the majority of Spring Split. It was all about mid and jungle priority with a late game insurance AD carry. Rogue Warriors said, you know what? We're going to throw that to the wind. We're just going to play around SMLZ and make sure that our little hyper carry puppy gets buffed up into the late game. Now they have a chaotic meta to work with. Even in this game alone, we've already seen the Aatrox mid out of them. They're throwing in a Lee, something we've only seen once in the LPL. I believe we've seen it in the LCK as well.
We did.
But
very
Nami,
successful in the LCK as well.
Nami also being picked up as their supportive choice.
Yeah, Nami's the one really unorthodox thing. Elise is one of those champions you could speculate towards. The game time has gone down so much that you may not even have any problems with late game scaling. It's a very strong pick champion that can work nicely around Scuttle Crabs, which is what all of the junglers prioritize, and the ganks are unreal.
A level 3 gank at that flash forward from Flawless forces the flash out of Cool.
That's risky from Cool, however. You get the flash trade and you take those, but at the same time, that does mean that Elise can come back and you don't have flash. It means that Aatrox can engage on you and you can't flash away. Still a win for the moment as Mouse is about to find Sydney.
An unseen gank coming out from the Nocturne. Fantastic spell shield stops the fling. Mouse, you hate to see it! Close your eyes, press F to pay respect, because Mouse unfortunately flashes into the wall.
That was worst case scenario for Mouse as well. Not only does he fail the flash, he doesn't get to the wall in time before the fear goes off, and he walked towards the Nocturne, who he tried to fling, and he just casually spell shielded it anyway. Could have worked in a million other ways, and Mouse finds the one very tragic way that is the absolute worst.
But a good gank coming out from Nocturne. Signia was able to avoid the large part of the vision in the river that was placed down by Mouse. Mouse even says, you know what? If Nocta's going to gank from there, I'm going to put a ward over at my own tri-brush anyway. Teleports back into the lane. Before that, Rogue Warriors had two big pushing lanes. SMLZ and Kahlua with this Nami pick have been able to control the bottom lane of LWX and Crisp.
Yeah.
Singe naturally pressing on the top side of the map. Only really Aatrox was being pushed in by Lulu, but a good gank from Flawless reversed that for a short period of time.
A large amount of control through this bottom lane. That's the place that really does have a lead for Rogue Warriors. And whilst top dies, it's still a Singed into a Shen, so it's just going to be average at best for the Singed. Ultimately, through the jungle roll, that's the place that you have to look. Can that Boots of Mobility rush Elise make the difference? Where's he going to hover? And it most likely, of course, will be that flashless Lulu in the middle lane. So they need to do it appropriately. And that was their first look there.
Doesn't get the knock up, however, Doinby. If he did get it there, got the crowd control, Flawless could have followed up with his own cocoon.
The thing with Boots of Mobility Elise, though, is that how quickly he runs back to his camps and can do one. Yep. Doesn't lose a lot of time, and getting cool to half health is his potion gone. And that's cool without teleport that may have to recall, or the kill threat from an Aatrox nearing 6 is still there.
Yep, even without the knock-up, even without the pressure coming in from Elise, Cool still gets knocked down below half health. So that lane's doing well in the mid lane. Seems like Rogue Warriors
Kahlua wants to set up here with an Elise.
To try and create pressure in the bottom lane.
Missed.
Mystic Shot didn't spot out Kahlua, didn't spot out Flawless either, and the sweeper shows that there is no ward here. Teleport.
That's the teleport bait, it's obvious.
Coming back from SMLZ, they're trying to collapse with the LWX. Cocoon connects. No arcade ship, but they find him. Chris gets caught out. They change targets to the Tahm Kench, and they kill the support of FPX.
So much damage immediately put onto the support. So well done from Rogue Warriors. Not only hit the cocoon, but to understand that Tahm Kench will save his ally, and you just bubble the Tahm Kench. You kill the Tahm Kench immediately. So they get that pick, and suddenly Ezreal, he's had the recall, he's had the teleport, is stuck under his turret, and that gives free time to Rogue Warriors.
SMLZ is going to try and shove this minion wave in against LWX, make it difficult for him to farm underneath the turret, but here's that play again. They collapse on LWX, but they get Crisp.
And this is still fairly correct from FPX, but you want to flash straight away there as Crisp. He didn't have the time, I think he was locked in the animation of the W. Ultimately, that's just brilliant from Kahlua. Very commendable effort.
And we've talked about Kahlua a lot during the spring split, because yes, SMLZ and Doinby are mainly the carries you look towards. Mouse is a staple top laner, and Flawless was a heavy invading jungler. But let's talk about Doinby, because he's found Nocturne, pops the ultimate, Fear's going to come through, Dark Flight doesn't bring him close, but Sea's going to flash forward, Blast Cone gets Doinby back to safety. What was a chaotic fight, Doinby finds an exit.
Brilliant exit from Doinby there. There's 4 people collapsing. It wasn't just the Lulu and the Nocturne that he found. Almost had the kill opportunity on Asinyi. They just trade flashes, junglers and mid laners in the end. But still, the fact that he's able to pull a rabbit out of his hat, so to speak, and get out there. Bottom.
Flash forward coming out of Chris. Nocturne's going to fly in as well. No flash forward. Nami, a couple more attacks would be enough, but he gets taken down. Singy trying to be traded by Chris. Saves his jungler, and LWX, the shotgun, gets a blast. Gets a kill for himself.
The attempt was nice from Rogue Warriors to trade, but even better from FunPlus Phoenix to get themselves the kills. 2 for 0. Nice gank from Shinyi. That red buff giving him 6. Getting to go bottom lane straight afterwards. The counterplay was there from them. Brilliant stuff.
And that global composition from FPX seems like their win condition against Rogue Warriors here. Singy's already online, 2-0-1, got a successful first gank off. And his ultimate will be coming up at the same time as Gimgoon. So we will be able to see the Stand United Paranoia combo from FPX. Whereas Rogue Warriors, they've got what seems to be a pick composition. Worked out to start the match. Flawless is still trying to take Infernal Dragon for himself. Be careful, little Spider-Man.
He is making sure the Spiderlings don't take aggro for the longest possible time to make sure they're doing damage, but it resets the dragon.
Oh no.
He's at risk of dying here.
Still gets it.
There you go.
Micromanagement still working for Rogue Warriors.
It's just a really tragic reset of the dragon, to be honest with you.
They do get the Infernal Dragon, however, so I'm curious to see why do FPX start to attack Rogue Warriors? We've already seen one Nocturne ultimate. Did it have to wait for that every single time?
I mean, ultimately, it's a composition that revolves around the Nocturne quite heavily. You've got a Nocturne with a Lulu for mid lane 2v2. You've got a Nocturne with a Shen. They can go Doinby.
Cool taking quite a bit of damage. Doinby no flash. Cool still has his own and Ignite. He's okay.
He's okay. He's alive. Cool still has to use the ultimate. And Doinby's got sustained because he has control of the minion wave. So the Aatrox holding the 1v1 means that he is free and they get control in the jungle, as you see.
Thank you for the Raptor, says Flawless. I'll take a chicken dinner tonight.
The risk is when Nocturne has the ult, which is now up and available as we speak. Doinby does not have flash. I'd be going mid personally, but it has worked bottom. There's no summoners down there either, and Nami, very squishy fish.
Look where he is. Already moving down towards the bottom lane. Has a control ward in the bush that is closest to Krug camp. So take away his camps first. Flawless trying to react to this and moves into the bottom lane. Sweeps away the Tri-Brush and knows that there's no ward to spot him out here.
The Nocturne will most likely walk into him soon. This is going to be dangerous.
Tidal Wave comes out first. Good dodge coming out from LWX. Means that engage coming out from Rogue Warriors doesn't do much.
I mean, part of me feels like FPX could have been engaged upon there if it was just hitting crisp. There was a chance the counter gank was available for Sydney, and I would actually like the odds of FPX in that 3v3.
Well, he's still down here. GameGoon's going to go back to base as well, so that will be a Shen who has Stand United and just purchased an item.
They're on.
Jumping in, looking to try and lock down Lucian first. No flash available
for
SMLZ, but good bubble. Stops the taunt, still comes through. Singy gets that first kill. The turret aggro is going to go onto Shan, but Chris gobbles him up, keeps him safe, and another successful dive for FPX.
And it stretches to 5-1 in kill score. FPX are able to do it again through bottom lane. Predictable or not, it's going to be successful if the Nocturne has the ultimate and GameGoon is able to get there. Look at the teleports.
The chaos has started. Teleports into the bottom lane, both Mouse.
That's all of them.
As well as Doinby going to join this fight. However, bottom lane's turret's going to fall. Now SMLZ wants to teleport in as well. Mega Adhesive keeps him locked down. And the first target's GameGoon, taking a lot of damage. SMLZ jumps in with the culling. Doinby will get the Bloodwell proc. Now Cool wants to join this fight as well. But 2 kills already to Rogue Warriors. The fleeing back from Mouse. The Cocoon narrowly wide. Make sure that Lulu can survive for a bit longer. Mouse in trouble. Ignite is still ticking. Watch the Beekeeper as he falls. There's the stopwatch, doesn't matter. SMLZ gets the kill, chaotic fight, but Rogue Warriors turn it around.
And they take down 4, so 3 teleports come into the bottom lane. Mouse, Doinby, and later SMLZ to get the fight, but they lose the first turret, and gold lead still belongs to FPX. Ultimately, it's a good trade, and it's something that was almost out of necessity, or the game was going to start to blow wide open. You can see how it all starts. Of course, FPX commit themselves to the turret. They had a minion wave they might have been able to play around, but they choose to sit tight. GameGoon saves his taunt because he was stuck on Sin's W. He was grounded by the Mega Adhesive. Of course, Doinby doesn't have a Guardian Angel, but he has an Aatrox passive, so he's entirely able to engage. And Mouse dies because he steps up too far here. Once the Cocoon misses, you call it a day. But by stepping forwards, he is able to make sure the Cool goes down and they get the stopwatch. It's a worthwhile trade if you're a Singed. Any 1-for-1 is a trade Singed will take.
Unlucky coming up from Cool as well. Thought he could be a bit cheeky and get away with his life there, but not going to be the case. Just delays Rogue Warriors a bit longer. But it's still a turret that goes in favor of FPX.
And you can see LWX has chosen to go towards the Iceborne Gauntlet this
Very
time
fast
around.
as well.
Usually you'd go for the Manamune, stack it up as fast as you can. Trinity Force in there, of course, as well. And then the 3rd tier item, or Blade of the Ruined King, as required. Usually Blade now. He's gone towards the armor item.
I mean, looking at the side of Rogue Warriors, you've got a
can you please miss?
An Aatrox, and an Unleash with a...
This is annoying me how good he is at the moment.
With a Lucian dashing around as well, that Iceborne Gauntlet is going to slow down key members of Rogue Warriors, but you're right, watching him play in that mid lane, it's actually pretty beautiful there. LWX make sure he hits every single shot, 2-0-3, sieging this mid lane, poking out Rogue Warriors.
Just impressive from LWX. They will still be able to hold for a little bit longer, but the constant pressure out of FPX will take this down sooner rather than later. And they've got the pressure once again of Shinyi with the Nocturne ultimate, and he is very strong, 3-1-3.
It's a carry jungler for the side of Rogue Warriors. Aatrox in the mid lane and Nami support, meaning the only real tank for the side of Rogue Warriors is going to be Singed. The poke coming out of LWX is incredibly strong. Even Cool following up with his own poke from the Help Picks and Glitter Lance combo.
There is a couple of interesting things though to look at champion interactions.
Okay.
That, if Nocturne is the crux of the composition for FPX, and he's using his ult, and he's going forwards, he has to go through presumably a Nami wave, the ult, so he has to spell shield there, which means that upon his arrival, he won't have a spell shield and will most likely die because he's a squishy champion, right? So that's one of the interesting interactions of perhaps, why is Nami a consideration besides lane dominance that may be useful? But if they get entrance, if the Nocturne gets on, it's still going to be a significant amount of damage to a bunch of squishy people.
So how do Rogue Warriors tear that apart? Because yes, you've got the Nami to interrupt the spell shield, yes, they've got the crowd control, but it's still, you have to go through a Stand United, you've got to go through a Shen delivery system, a Time Catch to protect someone, and a Lulu for protection as well. Not only that, but there's another threat of Ezreal waiting to deal damage too. Rogue Warriors looked like they had a pick comp, but we're now 15 minutes into the match. They still have a chance to create their own opportunities.
It's just difficult to pick people off. Like, ultimately, the answer is still to find those picks to generate some numbers advantages, and it doesn't necessarily have to be through a pick. It can be through map assignment, lane assignment, vision control, whatever it may be. For Rogue Warriors, if they can get it with the Elise, if they can follow it up with the damage and they can make the plays, and they're looking for it now.
They've set it up in the mid lane. Chris gets separated from LWX. Stand United on top of the Ezreal. Flawless forced to retreat. Mouse going to join the fight as well. Doinby is here. They fling back Tom Kench, looking for the catfish. Chris, he's going to fall. SMLZ gets the kill. Rogue Warriors set up for the pick.
Lots of damage. They find the pick that they're after. A big force from Rogue Warriors that it goes through the Shen ultimate. So things may not be as easy for FPX on the follow-up, and it gives an objective over to their opponent. So exactly what Rogue Warriors are after. They're able to fight.
Ocean Dragon's their next target. They'll be able to pick that up nice and easy. Rift Herald is still on the map.
They should be running straight over to the Rift Herald, though.
They can move towards it, but instead they defend mid lane first. That turret already fairly low. LWX got a good push onto it earlier. It's going to continue that push here. Flawless tries for a gank towards the Lulu. Forced to use Repel. LWX going to try and follow through, but Spiderling's cleverly blocking the Mystic shots.
LWX is currently 1v9ing. He's doing so much damage, and no one can deal with him because he has the Iceborne Gauntlet rushed. I think it's a very smart pick from him so far. Controlling that middle lane against a low-ranged Lucian, against the melee Aatrox if they send him there instead. Just constant poke and pressure with a Lulu to empower him.
They're still trying to siege this mid lane outer turret. FPX taking it slow and steady, but making sure it's difficult for Rogue Warriors to even go back to base. Interrupting Nami's recall, allowing Flawless to head home. But Doinby's finally arrived back into the mid lane to try and defend it himself.
He's still 3 levels down here, LWX, so whilst he has a lot of poke and is a nuisance, if Doinby looks at him the wrong way, he'll accidentally kill LWX. So it's just something you have to be careful of. Of course, the Iceborne Gauntlet helps a little bit with that. Rift Herald really wants to come and do jungle camps with Xinyi, but Xinyi says no, thank you. He's going to Team Rocket his way over to the Wolves instead.
Blast cones over so that Shelly can't get any further into his camps. Teleport being used into the mid lane. This will be LWX returning. His mana immune has been picked up, so slowly stacking that into our mirror mana. SMLZ with his own Blade of the Ruined King. Caulfield's Warhammer was the second pickup, so Essence Reaver Rush second, it seems, for his version of Lucian's build.
And that is a very early tier picked up by LWX when he hasn't fully stacked the first one.
Hello?
Just one of those things, you know?
I mean, it could be nearly done, so just banking on that he won't get another recall anytime soon.
He's got like a couple of minutes on it, so it could be an assumption that I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes hitting mid lane and not getting the turret. So he can get it earlier for sure if he chooses to, but at the same time, maybe he just couldn't afford the Lost Chapter component and wants to be more slot efficient.
It is very early. Flawless was spotted out by a ward in the top lane.
He's investing in a bright future.
Unfortunately for him. Oh, there it is. Nice and early, returns to lane, only spends about a minute, maybe half of that.
So that guy is in 3018. You guys are in the present.
He's playing 60 chess, not even 40 chess.
He knows what he's going to do before he even knows what he's going to do.
600 IQ. Very tall, attractive man.
Jawline of the gods.
No, that's Juice from the OPL. We can't really take his brand away from him. It's not nice. But lots of turrets getting fairly low here. That one cannon boy! Oh, sorry, banana boy, I should say. Look at him go, smacking away at people and minions. Gets a turret for the team of Rogue Warriors. Top lane outer is going to fall. The mid lane outer for the side of Rogue Warriors is still being held quite nicely. And now RW attack the Rift Herald.
Looking for an opportunity to take this one away, ideally not contested from their opponents. If FPX come to them, could also be a best case scenario type of trade. And it's only just been spotted, so that's a free one to take. And if you haven't seen Rogue Warriors before, welcome. Doinby takes all of them.
Gets the Rift Herald, heads back to base as Aatrox. He used to be the tank, he used to be the support player for Rogue Warriors, but now he's the super carry Doinby. his third game of Aatrox in the mid lane as well. Titanic Hydra already complete. SMLC, save your turret. No.
It feels like he wants to let it fall. There's no one around. So local gold may be a thing that he's thinking about. Now he gets to have some dinner for one. He did actually very much intentionally sacrifice that turret. He could have put himself in front of it if he wanted to tank it.
We get to take a look at the stats for Shen and Nocturne in the LPL though. 4 wins, no losses. It's a global composition that has done well.
Sure has, and there's also a Duskblade done on the Nocturne. It goes one step further when you add a Lulu into the fray. Ezreal, self-sustaining type of AD with a Tahm Kench to help whoever he pleases. Ultimately, they've got the composition, as we mentioned before, entirely around that Nocturne if he can get the ultimate off or assassinate someone. It's going to be harder and harder to do, however.
Yes, we've seen it being used successfully a couple of times now. Singy is also 3-1 and 3, so far ahead on this Nocturne pick. But you are right, Rogue Warriors can look for picks. They can look for lane assignments to help them out as well. So Singe with the push top lane, got a turret for himself.
But the games continue.
Doinby in the bottom lane gets a turret for Rogue Warriors too and has Flawless in his back pocket in case he can collapse onto Cool. So slowly tearing apart the map. Rift Herald is available for him to drop, and Rogue Warriors are only about 600 gold behind FPX.
Yeah, the gold lead doesn't really amount to anything. The early game, I should say, from FPX doesn't amount to anything. When it was 5-1, when they had the bottom lane turret and they got first brick, you thought they might be set up in this position to start to close out the game. But realistically, all we've seen is hard farming in the middle lane shortly afterwards. They never rotated to top lane. They never considered it as an option against the Singed. So they back it up. And it was a Banner of Command Rush Singed too, so he's not going to be doing a significant amount of damage. In fact, he's designed to prolong the lane, slowly chip away at the turret against the Shen. And our Shen hasn't gone the Flandre build. Hasn't gone the offensive build. No Trinity Force is likely to be seen.
No Triforce, no early
Titanic
completion of his Tiamat, so no Titanic to be seen, going for the Adaptive Helm instead. But lots of other item power spikes coming out from the side of Rogue Warriors. Already Guinsoo is being picked up by Doinby, and lots of ability power for Flawless. At least it's going to hit like a truck and do a lot of damage, but RW decided to try and attack this Infernal Dragon on spawn. FPX look like they want to go win. There's the Nocturne jumping in on top of SMLZ. Takes a lot of damage, doesn't get feared up, however. But it will be the Nami that gets popped first. That's a smelly fish and taken down right away. Stuck inside this Dragon Pit is the rest of Rogue Warriors. LWX, the shotgun, gets another one, but flung back by Mouse. There's bees all over this river. Doinby gets into the blood well as well, making sure that he respawns back here. Blastcone takes Chris back to safety. Chaotic fight, 3 for 3, but Dragon goes over the FPX, stolen away by Singy.
Securing that Dragon was a very big deal, and you just saw SMLZ with no entryway into a fight without sacrificing himself. If he was able to hit, things may have been far more clean, and of course Joinby and Mouth were able to do most of the work for Rogue Warriors in that, but it's still mostly even in the end. You get to see it start off. Shinji goes in, finds SMLZ and the Smite at the exact same time, and that's the Shen combo naturally. Nice little stopwatch to prolong him, but look at SMLZ. There's no real way in unless he goes into the pit and instantly gets sniped out. So well done from LWX to navigate that, but in the end, he's still going to get chased out.
And there's that two-prong attack that FPX can throw at Rogue Warriors. Throw in the Nocturne as well as the Shen, and then have the Lulu, Ezreal, and Tahm Kench attacking on a different front. Worked out well for them, separated the teams, capitalized. During the replay, however, we did see the use of the Rift Herald in the bottom lane was expiring. Doinby dropped it down. Got a full charge on that bottom lane in the turret, so a couple of auto attacks would be enough to take it down. But not yet. Still lives to fight another day. Doesn't give Rogue Warriors a nice advantage. Instead, they're still about 400 gold behind FPX in this game. Even after the last team fight, dead even.
Cool needs to be super cautious here. He's in a position where the Elise is about to collapse, even if he spots it.
And there they go. Mouse going to charge forward. Cool gets the ultimate, but the fling still goes through. Throwing the Lulu backwards. Banner of Command for good measure as well. Elise going to continue chasing. Going to try and get the damage onto this Lulu. A little bit quick and slows down a couple members, but Mega Adhesive will be there. Fling will be there shortly. Might not have taken damage just yet. Cool auto attack.
He's going to get caught, don't you worry.
And unfortunately gets caught out. Kill picked up by Mouse.
The never-ending battle. Doinby also fighting in the middle lane.
And they're trying to go up against LWX. They're taking out first. Bloodwell still there, but they're not killing him. Super carry Doinby. Keep on going. going. Tidal waves going through as well. See, he gets knocked up. Rogue Warriors collapse, but they can't get any kills. Instead, they look towards the big purple worm.
They move straight over to the Baron. SMLZ's got Blade of the Ruin King. They've got the Guinzu's Rage Blade on Doinby as well, so he'll get back up to full health. He can tank it forever. There's no Nocturne yet, and he's super low. He's going to have to go for the Nocturnal steal if they can get vision.
He stole the Dragon. There's the control ward for the vision. They clear it out nice and early. 2,000 hit points. Chris wants to get the vision for his team. Nocturne's in. Can't get it in time. And he dies for trying to take it as well. Rogue Warriors win the fight. They get a Baron and they take the lead.
Respect the attempt from Shinyi. It was desperation at best, but Rogue Warriors, all they needed was a single chance in that bottom lane to find Cool. And with the Lulu court split pushing, and Ardent Sensor Lulu at that, they capitalize.
Doinby,
he's in trouble.
Pick a fight. Bloodwell gets popped. You will heal back up. Take some more damage from the True Shot Barrage, but FPX can't capitalize. LPL still wants to go forward. Slows down SMLZ.
Doesn't
but
have the
they're
dash.
fine.
Yeah, they're going to be able to back away and ideally recall with the Baron buff, so you can see that FPX are just going to try and push and take them for what they're worth. It starts with a dash in mid from LWX, who steps up, and Doinby maximizing his damage output to get that GA on, of course, the Bloodwell fully stacked there. Brilliant stuff from the Aatrox when you can see what LWX was attempting to do.
I mean, I did like his Dark Flight straight on top of where Doinby was already standing, however, instead of trying to get on top of the Ezra.
Hitting the minions, man. Maximizing his damage to get the Bloodwell up.
Got his Bloodwell.
Is he just that smart?
Didn't need it.
I don't know.
Get popped? He is super carry Doinby.
I gotta say, the only reason it didn't get popped is because he had it. The difference between the threat of having a Guardian Angel and not having one is to how people play around you.
Killed him at the end. As Magi gets picked up by Mouse here. 3, 2, and 7 on the Singed.
Of course there is a Soul Stealer on a Singed. This is so much better than putting it on a Jungle Talia, though. I'm actually okay with this one. It doesn't matter too much in the end. This is also a 4th item, and he's just a Singed.
Poor Pepper. Rogue Warriors is going to try and attack the bottom lane, though. They got a Banner of Command cannon minion, so Thomas the tank going to chip away at turrets, whereas Doinby says, top lane's mine. No one's allowed up here. I'm going to try and take that down. Now, one turret falls, sieging bottom lane inhibitor. Although it was a pick comp coming out from Rogue Warriors, they are so far ahead here, Rusty. Titanic, Hydra, Guinzu's, and Sterix Gage.
Yeah.
For the carry in the mid lane of Doinby. Triple item for SMLZ. Black Cleaver now being picked up, and a Ziggs from Nami to protect him.
Where you going?
Top lane's the lane he wants to attack. Gimgoon's up here, but nah.
Well, unfortunately for FPX, that was their one uppercut that they had. That was the punch of the composition completely gone.
Whiffed.
But at the same time, there's only a minute left on Baron, so they may be able to withstand the push of Rogue Warriors and hold their base alive, but everything outside of it is absolutely shattered.
Yep, they lose quite a bit. True Shot Barrage to try and trim this wave. Rogue Warriors
the push. They've got one wave after this one to make a play, and you can see Mouse, he's threatening. He wants to push them away and give entry to SMLZ to attack. There's only one wave left. Why did you dash in?
Doinby reckons he can go for it, but Gimgoon misses the taunt. Still slows him down. Bloodwell is available, and Aatrox uses the ultimate. Gets popped to the Guardian Angel. Look at SMLZ flying in. It's a drive-by coming out from him. Jumps in, flashes in, exhausted, dives to the turret. What the heck's going on? Somehow, Rogue Warriors are still winning this fight. Doinby respawns. The fling back onto Chris. Flawless was off in the mid lane. Now rejoins the fight, and just like that, clap goes Rogue Warriors, and FPX fall.
I guess it doesn't really matter what SMLZ does in fights when the rest of his team just seems so strong. No one can touch Kahlua. That means everyone gets heals, and nothing can stop Doinby from healing up when the Guinzu's is procced. You can see how much he gets for every second auto attack. They just break the base. 2 inhibs gone.
28 minutes, and there's already 25 kills. Bloody match between Rogue Warriors as well as FPX, and even though the AD carry rams his head face first into the turret and the backline with exhaust on top of him, it doesn't matter. They don't even need their jungler for that dive.
You're absolutely right, Fish. This is a bloody match. A lot of stuff going on. There was a slow point in the middle as well. Considering there's 25 kills at 28 minutes and we did nothing for 6 to 10 just farming in the mid lane and LWX trying to scale up, it really explodes quickly. It starts with a taunt tragically missing onto Doinby. There's a chance he died if that connected. The reinforcements are there, and this is that point in the fight where you really don't want to look at it if you're SMLZ, because he's still tanking the turret no matter what. He's mobile, he's jumping everywhere. but he's tanking the turret, and the turret doesn't miss. Ultimately goes down, but of course the rest of the team is there. Mouse has been quietly overachieving through this game in team fights on that Singed.
4, 2, and 8, and he's at 6 items, Rusty.
15 stacks.
Z, Rot, Portal, Banner of Command, Shurelias, and Rylai's. Stacks on stacks on stacks for his Magites. It's a happy Singed at the moment.
Certainly is. Of course, he can go anywhere he wants right now. That Zarok portal is just going to be a nuisance in the middle lane, constantly trying to push it in with super minions as they crash
Also,
very shortly.
SMLZ learnt his lesson here, Rusty. He knows that he's going to die when he dives into the back line like that, so instead of not doing it, he buys a Guardian Angel.
And off goes Mouse on a magical journey.
Throwing out the ultimate, Nocturne's going to fly in. Bloodwell is wearing off. And now it's gone down. Nocturne jumps in, dropping straight on top of the Infinity Spider. Knocked down low. Pops his own GA, but it's going to be a stopwatch to keep him alive. Siggy goes forward, gets it, but look at SMLZ diving in.
Oh.
Trying to dash back out. The quick shoes, the blue suede shoes, still going forward. Crisp in trouble, but he can't find that final auto attack. Doesn't matter because there's bees inside the base against FPX. Only their Nexus turrets are left standing, and they can't do anything but watch helplessly as this onslaught of Road Warriors members charge in. They will take game 1 against FPX.
They had too much control of the map already here, Rogue Warriors. They were just able to walk it towards bottom lane. You can see just pure elation coming out of them after that victory. Really enjoyed ice skating around on his Lucian. It feels like Uzi on the Rift watching EDG and then Rogue Warriors AD carries play Lucian, get to 3 items and just be everywhere. But in the end, it actually all cascaded simply because they found Cool alone in a side lane, completely unaware that there was a Singed working out where he was. Mapping him out, get the Baron, get control of the Rift, and that's all you need if you're Rogue Warriors to close it out.
And if you're new to the LPL, that is indeed SMLZ smiling. Might not look like much, but there's about 2 degrees different from his regular pose, and that's about all the emotion you're going to get out of him.
Doinby makes up for it.
He does.
Quite alright.
I've seen Doinby throw a chair in because he was so happy.
I've seen him fall off the chair after a win as well. That man does it all.
Fall off the chair before.
Well, speaking of doing it all, LWX did an abundance of damage in that game on the Ezreal, but it still feels like, and this is something that I hope the desk talks about, the composition felt a little bit too linear into their opponents, in that you had to ram your head in, and that no matter how much poke LWX was able to provide, unless they were 6k plus ahead, you know, it wasn't going to be a killing amount of impact, simply because it was an Iceborne Gauntlet, not the Trinity Force.
Tons of damage from Cool, but just not enough. The ultimates coming out from Nocturne and Shen looked good to start. The global strategy did well, capitalizing a couple of the dragon fights, but Rogue Warriors had a response every time it happened, finishing the game with an 11,000 gold lead, and it was the Baron that really broke the game wide open for them. Fumble of plays from FPX, Rogue Warriors capitalized. They had the team composition to take down Baron fast, and they did just that.
They also had the team composition to deal with their opponents. Elise can repel, Aatrox has the GA built into the kit. The only one he could target was the bottom lane, and they're always at the very back because bruisers are sprinting in front.
Well, that's our thoughts. Let's send it over to the analysts to see what they think.
No.
I don't understand why we keep getting these corny tosses. I don't know which one was worse.
It was Dom's before,
Dom
but they
or
just
Fish.
keep throwing that at us, and at some point we've just got to keep silent.
I refuse. Okay, let's start with Champion Select, because I'm actually going to grab a couple of things here. Shin, Nocturne, and Tom Kench. So Rusty talked about it on Cast. We actually talked about it in context of Edward Gaming for our Match of the Week, you know, just last series. This idea of a semi-global composition. And what I find very interesting here is that when Edward Gaming play a semi-global composition and having all of these key ultimates, it's a very... they win, but it's a very methodical, you know, it's why they win. It's methodical, it's clean, it's set up, they have the play, it's 2, 3, 4 minutes in advance, and then they execute. And I don't necessarily think it's just FPX. I also think it's Rogue Warriors who love to force, you know what I mean? So when you have a semi-global comp like that, is this FPX failing? Is this because Rogue Warriors are just like, they don't give you time to breathe and set up? Like, what? Where does this fall down?
Ultimately, it's FPX because the setup does matter, right? Because remember, a lot of it comes down to level 6. Level 6 for Shen, level 6 for Nocturne. There we go. Level 6 for Lulu. So a lot of it is basically you're going to have one opportunity. You don't have a lot of windows because once you hit level 6, Nocturne's online. But when the game gets longer and longer, you're going to have a lot more of a difficult time dealing with Aatrox in particular. Issue is, you have to keep it clean, and you have to know when your perfect back timings are. Rogue Warriors knows when you're staying on the map for too long. They have the TPs to respond to it as well, so number advantage will always be in their court if you have the bodies in the wrong spot. And that's what happened in a few times in these games.
Yeah, and so, like you were saying, level 6, early on, they find the windows, they try to make the play, and it looks good initially for a couple of these plays, but it was so back and forth, kind of some misexecution from both sides.
And it all happens in one play here. This is an excellent example of FPX performing an excellent dive, getting 2 kills for the names, and they think they're safe. Rogue Warriors are such a great team in being able to punish this. They challenge it immediately with a TP from Lucian, and also another TP coming in from Aatrox. So immediately turns into a 3v4 and ultimately a 4v4. And this is when FPX realized that they stay too long greeting in for a tower. This is what I'm talking about, and knowing when your proper back timings are necessary. Because this is SMLZ not only dying to the gank, but coming back to respond properly.
So how do you fix this? Is this something that you just coach and just next time FPX know, okay, we got the kills, but we don't need to force the tower this time around, just make a repeat gank? And then once you miss this window, is it like falling off a bike or falling off a horse and you just can't get back up onto it, or are you just too far behind?
There are a few times where they're able to find them ways back in, because there's always an opportunity with a semi-global comp. You can just say, okay, well, we'll isolate the top lane. We'll isolate the bottom lane the next time that we do this.
Maybe steal a dragon?
There we go. That also helps too. It's always happenstance. But ultimately, like, the best way to deal with it is to base, is to come back to that bottom lane. It's not going anywhere. In fact, they're stuck underneath that tower. So a lot of the times you're saying, next time I'll just go back mid. I'll get the push there. I'll bring Lulu. That tower's going down. So they have to have faith in the next play, but they try to all just bundle it up in one time.
Just continue to run into the meat grinder. I feel like Rogue Warriors, we call Edward Gaming the setup team of the LPL. Yep. I almost want to start nicknaming Rogue Warriors the hammer of the LPL. I feel like they have a nail, and they know that the nail must go into the board. But there's no finesse. There's no technique here. They just drop it on you, and they force it into that board. So
I definitely agree with it. I think that Flawless loves that style. I think that this is an excellent meta where you're just like, you know what, AP junglers, have at it. Flawless has been known for his Nidalee, and maybe we'll get another Nidalee from him this split. But coming back with the Elise is just essentially him saying, I'm great in the early game. I'm going to go bottom lane a few times as well. Didn't work out. I'm looking for my opportunity to skirmish. This is one, as you mentioned, Dragon Steal, where you look at FPX trying their hardest to come back into it.
And again, it's the idea that everything is forced from Rogue Warriors as well. You know, they understand that they need to be on the Infernal, but the setup's not quite there. It's the correct idea. They're going to force the nail into the board, but it's those windows that you're talking about, Raz. You know, the ability to find those steals to make the composition work for themselves, even though they overstayed on the bottom side.
Yeah, and there was a few times where I was a little bit of a monk at Eston towards Baron when Nocturne was just sitting there. It's like, I've done it a few times. It would have been awesome. It would have been sick. But it's just, ultimately, the coach is going to be like, okay, wait a minute. You don't have to do this, because if you had kept your early game leads, you would have been able to push that and have the vision control yourself. So FPX should be happy that they had that early game lead. That's a plus. Just be a lot more disciplined in how you play it out.
But we do need to celebrate our MVP, our man of the match. It is going to go to Doinby on the mid Aatrox. I thought it might be a toss-up between him and SMLZ. No. It is Doinby.
Yep, not dying once. And they all remember when Lucian just dove up the top lane tower, and they're like, wait a second, you died. We're handing it off to the Aatrox mid laner, Doinby. Such a sick game. And he was able to challenge a few plays. One of them in particular was in the mid lane when Ezreal tried to come up on him. He's like, no, that's not happening. This is another great play. This is a good example of why SMLZ doesn't have the MVP himself.
Hey, zoning people out, you know, maybe tank the tower for 9 seconds flat, but, you know, doing some serious deeps on the ML, Doinby just taking all the glory, Raz. That's all I see.
Look at it. That's when they don't stop. All I'm saying is that you're playing Lucian not early. You got to stop at some point and recognize that one of the members has exhaust.
Pulling a page out of Scout's book there. But that said, again, it's a best of 3. We're going to go into game 2 between Rogue Warriors and FPX and see if Rogue Warriors can clean this up in 2.
争锋召集，方可声名远扬。侠盗勇士志在威震四方。